Earth intuition, sensitivity to Earth's energies and Earth's way of communicating with you. Hi, my name is Nancy Rebecca. I'm a retired nurse. Been working with psychic intuitive development as a teacher for 30 years now. And in this series, this intuitive series, the reason why it's coming up is because we are going through this kind of galactic shift that is really awakening you to being much, much more sensitive to the energies within you and those frequencies on the outside of you as well. And in this particular one, I'm calling it Earth's intuition. Now, I know that there's many of you who have always been, from the time you were just a little person, very sensitive to the earth. Maybe you forgot about it, maybe it's coming back, or maybe you never lost it at all. So this is what I'm going to be talking about today: intuitive earth. So have you ever felt a shift in the earth's energy, sensing a change before nature itself actually expressed? Today we're going to talk about that journey that we are moving through with the intuition of what's happening with the earth and a remarkable ability to connect with and perceive changes going on in the earth, whether it's a low rumble of an earthquake that maybe you can feel that nobody else can feel, or maybe you have a sense that there's been a volcanic eruption somewhere, and that when you go and look it up on your little volcano app or earthquake app and you find out, yep, sure enough, there was a big earthquake or volcano. Maybe you have a sensitivity about fires, and you have a sense that there's a out of control fire somewhere, and you go and look it up and find out that, yeah, in South America, there's big fires, or on the other side of the world. This is what I'm talking about, that that often you may be experiencing some of these things and you think it's you think something's off with you, or it's like, I feel super dizzy, and then you find out that there was this really big tsunami that hit, or that there was a tornado that happened in another country. So there's lots of ways where you can take that on personally, and in actuality you are an earth intuitive, that you are sensitive to changes on the earth that we live on. And we also have the more measurable earth sense that comes through as a Schumann resonance, where your intuitive messages and nature offers every day, that you can feel that Schumann resonance of the earth is rising. And you go take a look on your little app and you find out, sure enough, the Schumann resonance is highly, highly active. So let's begin first by examining this idea of Earth's subtle energy. So scientists have long discussed the Schumann resonance. It's a natural electromagnetic force that envelops our planet. It's often described as the heartbeat of Earth. This resonance is generated by lightning discharges between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere, creating a consistent pulsation of energy that many sensitive individuals can tune into intuitively. And for those of you like you who are very attuned and sensitive, these shifts in signals in the Earth's energy can often feel like a subtle drum beat to you. And that it can alter the rhythm and response to environmental events, and that you just might be sensitive enough that you're noticing that. Let me see here. And you may feel it at a physical and emotional level as well, and you don't know what's wrong with you. It's like, something's off. I don't know what's wrong. So it may just be your inner self trying to synchronize with the out of balance shifts that you are experiencing. And again, it could happen on the other side of the world, and where the imbalance happens, and it may take you a while to realize, oh, I'm just acclimating to the shifts that are happening. Beyond the scientific measurable phenomena, the earth intuition extends to living expressions of nature. So imagine if you're standing in an ancient forest, you can feel that beautiful sense of calm as the towering trees around you are whispering. You can almost feel this hum, this kind of whispering, or I can kind of hear it like a bunch of little whispers in the background. And the rustling of the leaves, of course. And sometimes you can be talking, or it's like sometimes, praying, talking to God, and all of a sudden the wind really starts to whip up and the leaves start really singing. And then after you finish praying, everything calms down again. So, intuitive individuals who are very sensitive report that trees communicate not just through sound, but through a silent telepathic language, a language of energy, growth, and renewal. And this silent communication can be felt in the presence of centuries old oak trees, whose very essence speaks of long endurance, wisdom, connection to the earth. Very similar to the stones. They're called the stone people, crystals that have unique mineral compositions that can also leave an energetic imprint or express an energetic imprint. And so, like for me, I find myself incredibly sensitive to crystals where I can't have a lot around me, and my nature is more towards stone. And when I pick up stones, hold stones, or stand next to large stone structures, you can feel just how old, how ancient it is. And if you are an earth intuitive, you would actually be able to maybe sense the telepathic communication between you and those stones. I remember traveling in South Africa, and there was a friend's husband was traveling with us, and he just wanted to hang out and have fun. He said, "Oh, I don't have an intuitive bone in my body." And next thing you know, he was starting to see the shapes of stones that looked like animals. And it's like no matter where he looked, he saw animal faces coming out of the stones. So that just means that he was an earth intuitive. He was very, very sensitive to the earth. So, okay. Stones, unique minerals, blah, blah, blah. History of the land and natural cycles of transformation and healing. And these ancient sentinels of the earth that store memories of the past that quietly urge us to connect with our roots and remember that we are an integral part of a larger natural tapestry. I was recently in Southern California, and it's like a desert type park. It's the largest state park in California. And so a friend of mine and I went there, and it was interesting. It was as if the land there, well, it was conscious. I mean, it was really conscious. And I felt like I was walking and moving through this fluid plasma sense of pure consciousness, very high frequency. And we found a couple of items missing, a couple of items moved. So it was definitely the underworld was very active. The little people were very active who love shiny things and love to move shiny things, and even took our car keys. And so we eventually went on this hike, and there was this bench along the way, and we both decided to sit for like 30 minutes and just really feel into the consciousness of where we were. What was interesting, we kept hearing footsteps, and we would both, unbeknownst to the other one, would look around to see looking back of us, and there wasn't anything there. And we'd go back to close our eyes, and we could hear footprints approaching us, footsteps. And then afterwards, I said to her, "Did you hear those footsteps?" And she said, "Oh, yeah, they were very, very active." So, this is that sense of when you're sensitive to the earth and you're sensitive to You can have the plants that can be very active, the flowers that can be very sensitive and communicating, the fruit trees, the pine cones, the different trees. And it doesn't matter. We often think of big trees as being like, the kings and the queens of the forest, the grandmothers and the grandfathers, but it's not that way at all. You can have a small, tiny little bush that can be the one that keeps all the other, is the overseer of nature in that particular area. So, for those who, I'd love to hear from you, for those of you who consider yourself an earth intuitive. So, flowers and plants have their own subtle messages to convey. Each bloom and leaf carries a vibration and a frequency that can be intuitively read by those who cultivate that type of sensitivity. And the vibrant hues and delicate fragrances of flowers are not merely aesthetics, they are expressions of life's inherent beauty and resilience. And the gentle unfolding of the blossom is their expression about changes, sending you a message of hope and renewal. So, when I went to South Africa and I was training as a Sangoma, it's like everything is a living being. And so, in the kind of the sacred hut that we were going to, there was a friend there who was also a Sangoma and was teaching our group how to select the flowers that would go on the altar of this sacred space. And what was fascinating was it was like just to sit and meditate with the plant and then eventually ask the plant if it wanted to sacrifice a few of its flower buds for the altar. Well, not every flower was in a position to want to sacrifice. There were other flowers that was like, me, pick me, very excited about, about being able to participate in a sacred event. And we've heard about human sacrifices, we've heard about animal sacrifices, but have you ever thought about an apple that sacrifices itself off the tree so that you can eat it? And this is the thing about the indigenous cultures. They're very earth intuitive in that way. They'll really only select the parts of the plants that the plant is willing to offer up itself for our healing in particular. And so, yeah, next time that you are around and you want to maybe clip some roses out of your yard, check with the rose plant and see which roses want to be a part of your house on the inside. So, Mother Earth communicates in many, many ways. Heightened Earth intuition can describe a deep resonance connection with the land, like an energetic empathy that transcends ordinary sensory experiences. Whether you're walking barefoot in the grass, feeling the cool texture of the soil between your fingers, or standing before a majestic mountain range, you might experience an overwhelming sense of belonging, a sense of connection to nature. And did you know? I mean, if I hadn't witnessed this with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. That the earth breathes, it expands and it contracts, just like you take a deep breath in and then you let the breath out, and you take a breath in and let the breath out. You can actually find, I have seen a YouTube video on this, but I've actually witnessed it myself once when I was in South Africa. And then there are times where I will look at trees, and it seems like if you just really kind of stare with a soft gaze, it's like the tree is taking in a deep breath in, and then it's going, letting the breath out and breathing in the energy of nature, and then breathing out again. You probably never thought that that was possible because no one ever told you that was possible, but this is where we're going with this galactic blue super wave of DNA activation and this pool photonic light of consciousness that yes, you are going to begin to experience those sorts of things. I have no doubt. Um, so, interplay between personal energy and earth energy, often things will happen around you that reflect what's happening to you on the inside as well. So, you might want to just try to pay attention to see what you notice. Um, Sometimes I've stood near a tree and it feels as if the it's like I feel like if I slowed down the camera enough, I could maybe sense or feel the branches reaching out to give me a hug. Or you'll feel or sense as an earth intuitive the energy field of that plant, that bush reaching in, kind of giving you a hug, folding you into it. Yeah, it's super cool to be an earth intuitive. I've had to cultivate mine. It has not come naturally. Working with the indigenous peoples of South Africa, they've really taught me a lot about that. And then also, it can reflect your inner state, but there's a connection between your external environment and can be connected to how you're doing emotionally and spiritually. The one thing I always nature has taught me is that it really loves balance and harmony. So if you go to stand in nature, you're walking in nature, maybe you're just sitting on the ground eating a sandwich. Nature moves the energy around, kind of like qigong, it moves the energy around until you are in a balanced state. There was a woman, I can't remember her name now, but I'm not even sure if she's still living, but she studied auras and would take videos of auras. And even standing in the vegetable section of the grocery store, vegetables that have been harvested already, they're no longer a part of the plant, but they still wish to bring your energy field into balance and harmony. And she could actually catch the light on this video. Super, super cool. So, Earth intuition is not just about sensing shifts, it's also about engaging with the natural world in a reciprocal way. You send out love and you receive love, and you send out love but it's not transactional. I want to say that. It's not like if you're unconscious and you're not sending love to the tree, they're going to be sending love to you whether you notice that they exist or not. And and so you may, once you really start to connect with the earth, you are an earth intuitive, you're very sensitive, it really rolls over into being much more eco-friendly, really wanting to give back to the earth. But here's the other thing: when you are an earth intuitive, you are very sensitive to the underworld. So where we are here on top of the earth is considered the middle world, and then we have the upper world where the angels exist, and then we have the underworld where it's also a mystical, magical existence of all kinds of mystical beings and people, little people, and earth guardians, earth angels. And right now on the earth, what I'm beginning to notice is that they're feeling safer on earth because more of us are becoming, there's more earth intuitives out there, and they're starting to feel safer. They know if they come to my yard, they're in a safe place, right? Well, I wanted to share a little story. So they love shiny things. So you could put little flowers, you could put little nuts, shiny things like coins, or like little glitter and things like that. That they love those little shiny things. So Yvonne and I were traveling to New Mexico, and we had been invited there by the spiritual elder Leon Secatero, the Canoncito people. And we met him in India, and he had invited us to go on their sacred journey with them. And so we arrived. I mean, this was like a couple of years later. We arrived, and we were going to need to wear skirts and shawls and things like that. So we were getting prepared, getting our food prepared. But we were told that not to wear any jewelry. Don't take any jewelry with you because the little people will take it. They love shiny things. So I didn't have anywhere to put my jewelry. I I was going to be sleeping in a tent. We had driven from Washington State to New Mexico. There wasn't anywhere I was going to be able to lock it up. And so that night in the tent, if you've never been in a tent, on the inside, it could be sewn into the lining like little mesh pockets on the inside. So I took all my jewelry off, and I had um, a scarf, kind of a bandana, and I placed all the jewelry on the inside of the bandana, and I folded it like this, and I really folded it up into a little tiny bundle about that big. And then I unzipped the little pocket that was right here next to my head. I slipped the bandana with the jewelry inside in there and zipped it back up. So there was no way it was going to go missing. Well, we're laying there and it's quiet because we're out in on the land. We are far away from the nearest town. You know, like we drove like 3 hours to get there in very rugged country. All right, so we're laying, and all of a sudden I could hear little feet running around the tent, and I whispered to Yvonne, "Can you hear that?" And she was like, "Yes." I'm like, "What's it sound like?" She goes, "Little feet running around our tent." So they were running, and when I say little, like the feet couldn't have been bigger than what, 3 inches. So they're running, and it sounded like they were running faster and faster and faster and faster. And I was I was a lot nervous. I was kind of a little bit scared, and I was kind of freaked out a little bit. But I have to tell you, we passed out. Like the next thing you know, I woke up and it was morning and the sun was out and it was time to get up. And I was reflecting on the night before. The last thing I remember were these footsteps going around. So anyway, we just had a good laugh about it. Well, next thing you know, I look up and my bandana's gone, my jewelry's gone. The zipper is zipped up. Like someone would have had to have gone through 2 layers of zippers to get into the tent, and then this other zipper next to me to get the jewelry. So I said to Yvonne, "Oh my God, the jewelry's gone. Like it's gone. Like it's totally gone." And so I was pretty rattled in a kind of a fun way. So we climb out, and Yvonne, and it's tall grass around. This is not a campground, that we are out in the woods. Um, Tall grass is up to our knees. She's walking around. Do you know she found every piece of my jewelry? And it was just in this circle, had been thrown in the grasses all the way around. They didn't take it. They just loved playing with it. And so this is what I mean about the little people, is that they can be fun. They can be tricksters. They love to play. They love to touch you and run away. And so this is the thing about Earth's intuitives. You can be very, very, very sensitive. And so I do often think about even those who've had um, Sasquatch sightings. I have not, but it's my sense that they are strong Earth intuitives. And so that's probably why the Sasquatch feel a connection to whoever they show up to reveal themselves to. So the earth is always speaking to you, and I just highly encourage you to let Mother Earth guide you. But I just want to follow it up kind of in closure to say, let yourself sit in nature, let yourself engage with nature, let yourself ground in nature and feel Mother Earth's heartbeat align with your heartbeat. And you're not going to need to try very hard, because with this galactic wave that's coming in, the activation of your sensitivity is going to be so much higher that it is my sense that you're going to have experiences that no one ever taught you, never had before, and it's going to be loads of fun. So, all right, I cannot wait to read your experiences that you've had, any stories that you've had, whether it's with nature or the underworld, or your sensitivities to feeling earth changes, in other parts of the world. So take good care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next intuitive teaching.